Am I the asshole for telling a manager it's not a gender thing that he overspent on his wedding? An executive HR manager was getting married last year and everyone was expected to donate towards their honeymoon between $50 to $100 because they could not afford it around Christmas time. First things first, hell nah. Secondly, this manager makes triple my salary, so, again, hell nah. I replied, no thank you kindly in the group chat. Not because I didn't want to but because of the principle. Well, I guess I started a whole to-do because people started backing out. Well, needless to say, he was upset about the amount of money he received, less than $6,000, and had to reduce his honeymoon days from 20 to 14, OMG, first world problems. Fast forward to COVID and a coworker, notably makes less than him, conceived twins after a drunk unprotected night with her husband. They were completely unprepared, just got married 8 months prior and was not trying. People asked if we could donate $10 to $25 towards helping her. I got irritated by this. So you are willing to ask people to donate $50 to $100 for a fucking honeymoon for someone who clearly can afford it? So I donated $100 and went and got things off of her registry. Well, I guess people took my lead and did the same. She ended up receiving almost $11,000 for her babies plus items off of her registry. She was very grateful and actually gave back $4,000, so we could receive some of our donations back since COVID and many base and middle management had to take salary cuts. The executive HR manager found out and had a fit. In a regional meeting Monday, he brought up how unfair it was to treat men differently. Here is where I may be an asshole, replied, please don't make this a gender thing. You clearly overspent on your wedding. C didn't plan for 2 babies during a pandemic. Hell, she didn't plan for one, especially with the pay cuts. You also make more than everyone in this room, so you could donate to us. Just saying. Well, he got upset and said I would be receiving a corrective. I reminded him that he is HR and bipartisan employee and to participate in such activities is unethical in front of everyone. Am I the asshole? Half of the team thinks I am right for shutting his ungrateful ass up, but the other half feel I should have just kept quiet and to stop starting. Company structure. There are 4 tiers. Entry, no pay cut taken, $30,000 to $40,000. Base management, 15% pay cut taken, $50,000 to $70,000. Middle management, 25% pay cut taken, $75,000 to $90,000. Executive management, no pay cut taken, $150,000 to $300,000. Edit, so many comments and thank you all. I get why some say everyone sucks here and that is cool. To explain, he did not ask us himself. He complained to his department and they solicited the request. C did not know she was pregnant until 20 weeks because she has PCOS and irregular periods are normal. She also did not ask us for anything. Someone overheard her crying and thought we could help. I have scheduled with the CEO with a meeting recording for Friday. Also, our new CEO is pretty awesome. He came after the pay cuts and is working to change that. Edit 2. We have a pay schedule. This is based upon job title and years worked. This was to create transparency to prevent racial and gender pay inequality within job duties. Bonuses are up in the air. C did not tell anyone at work about her getting drunk and unprotected sex. She alluded to me because we have the same medical issue that causes fertility issues. So I asked her how she did it as once COVID is up, I wanted to start trying myself. She straight-faced me and said, got drunk, was stupid and now pregnant. I just shared that information with you all here. And the person that said I watch too much Office. I have never seen an episode, but if it has a good show please point me to the season and episode number so I can watch it. Thank you. Edit 3. Lastly, in 2018 we got a more liberal CEO, who wanted to create a be yourself community environment. Sounds great but not without rules. It opened the floodgates for them to do whatever in executive management without fear of repercussions. Prior to last year, cash gift giving was forbidden no matter the reason. We could only donate our sick time and/or PTO time to employees with serious medical issues. Myself and C work in separate departments so we don't see or interact with each other much. We just share resources since we have the same medical condition. Again, C did not expect nor ask anyone for anything. She did not feel entitled. Someone asked us and because of the amount asked I got irritated and decided to donate more. I started the fire. Not see my comment to the him stemmed from the pay cut we took and the fact that he felt entitled to any of our money and tried to use gender as an excuse.
Not the asshole. As Allison on Ask a Manager always says, gifting in the workplace should run down, not up. It is unethical to ask employees on less money to front gifts for bosses on higher pay. Plus, with baby showers and things, there is precedent for coworkers getting together to get someone a gift for their new baby. There is no precedent anywhere for employees to pay for their boss's wedding.
You are one of those people who can make good changes in your little world. Do what you do, but be careful too. Sharks everywhere. You are a hero.
Not the asshole. Why would he plan such an expensive wedding and honeymoon if he couldn't afford it? That's his own problem, lol, what a jackass.
Not the asshole. Having a dick and being a dick are two very separate things. Gender doesn't come into this at all. You are awesome for helping out those twins and their parents. That is doing real good in this shit world.
Not the asshole paying to help a coworker with her unplanned children and pregnancy and paying for a man who makes a lot more money than you to go all out on his honeymoon are in no way the same nor a gender a thing, he's just playing the victim.
Not the asshole, he really doesn't deserve to be head of our. The entitlement of this guy. Poor me can't afford a honeymoon. He sounds really corrupted. Is there no way to expose and fire him?
Not the asshole. This is seriously first world problems. I would never pay for someone's wedding. Not even my children, especially if they want to make it a budget they can't afford. I am definitely partial to babies who require a lot of money, especially in these times. I'm glad you stood up to your boss. You are the asshole, you're a monster, this man had to suffer. He only got 2 weeks for his honeymoon. How dare you not give money to him? He only makes 5x as much as you. That's like living in poverty. I hope you feel horrible when he is on that beach in Cancun knowing he can only be there for 2 weeks instead of 3.
Not the asshole. What kind of cheap DB solicits wedding, honeymoon donations from coworkers? I'd have been pretty impolite in my refusal. Huge kudos to you and your coworkers for going all out to assist the person who actually needed some help.
Definitely not the asshole. Also, you are awesome for being able to throw it back to him when he challenged it. Your colleagues just want to stay out of the firing line. It sounds like HR in your company is warped. Sports medal, sports medal.
Not the asshole. I have respect your principles and reasoning and also that you were honest about it. He sounds incredibly selfish and childish. If he couldn't afford a honeymoon, he shouldn't have had one. Plenty of people don't. Or maybe just a weak one, or cut down on his wedding. How ungrateful of a reaction. $6,000 is a huge, generous donation to something so meaningless to the people actually donating. I wouldn't have put anything in. In regards to the woman with the babies, most people wouldn't expect twins, so even if they'd been trying, I'd imagine they would be in for shock. That donation was of a completely different stock. They needed help, whereas HR guy wanted help. This HR guy has really riled me and I don't even know the bloke.
Not the asshole, but the GoFundMe culture in your workplace seems very unusual, even unprofessional. Are you expected to give your coworkers money every time there is a marriage or birth? Surely it's nobody's responsibility other than the person directly affected. Not the asshole. How is that guy an HR manager? Not the asshole, and what crappy financial management to not take a pay cut from the highest paid employees. Losing cash business because of a pandemic. First stop, anyone making over $150,000. Go down from there. And the audacity of this man to expect his coworkers to pay for his honeymoon.
Not the asshole. But are we talking American dollars? 'Cause if so, I'm struggling to get my head around those figures. You generously gave 10x the suggested minimum. And that was still less than 1% of the overall haul. How many people were contributing? And some dude's outraged at receiving a mere $6,000 as a wedding present from his coworkers? 6 fucking thousand. And he's disappointed. What the actual fuck? Bizarre. Not the asshole, he's lucky you didn't report him. A person in authority asking for donations for his wedding is probably hugely against company rules. Not the asshole, I wish more of my coworkers were like you.
Lol, where the fuck do you work? It would be completely out of line for anyone to ask anyone else to contribute to these sorts of things at my company, and you'd be completely ostracized if you even tried. This whole situation is just unacceptable on every level. Him for clearly being an asshole. You for seemingly sharing details about your coworker's personal business, the fact that the babies were unplanned during a meeting. Even if everyone knew, it was wildly inappropriate to talk about a colleague's family planning in a meeting. If I were her, I would have been incredibly uncomfortable during the whole thing.
Not the asshole, and cheers to you for your strength speaking out. I'd be happy to call you a colleague. Why is anyone even commenting on private matters in a professional business environment? Why is there even such a crossover? Asking your coworkers, not friends, to donate money is weird enough, for both the boss and the female coworker by the way, but then to talk about such things while on the clock? Sorry but
Everyone sucks here. Are there no professional boundaries at all at your workplace? Everyone crossed lines as far as I can see, from soliciting donations from subordinates, from HR no less, to oversharing personal details and info, to sharing others' info in public forums, to providing constructive criticism in a public forum, just the whole situation.
Not the asshole, I would have thanked you for speaking up. That being said, opinions that senior management doesn't like are really unwelcome in the workplace. I speak my mind as respectfully as possible, but it still gets me in trouble sometimes. Thankfully I had a hamster who helped me realize my content was good, but I had a delivery problem. I had to really work to develop emotional intelligence and other skills to be able to speak truth to power in a way that they would listen. It still falls on deaf ears at times, but at least I added my 2 cents. Note: hamster equals manager. My swipe picked that and I found it hilarious and left it. Tongue out. So is this a business or a reality show? Why did any of this ever come up?
Not the asshole. 1. Since when do executives panhandle for their own donations? 2. What the fuck, how did management not get pay cuts during COVID downturn? It starts at the top in decent companies. F that noise. Not the asshole, I overspent on my wedding and ended up taking out a personal loan. I don't understand how someone making that much would ask for donations and then get upset over everyone helping the person who is having babies. Mad respect for you op.
Not the asshole IMO. He sounds like a dick. That is 100% not a gender thing. That's I'm happy to help someone in need compared to someone greedy. Not the asshole, he was spouting off bullshit and you let him know. From personal experience, there is something extremely satisfying from calling them out and watching them squirm in front of everyone.
Is your office just a charity for people who make dumb decisions? I go to work to make money, not give it to people who are dumb. The hour guy is an asshole for expecting people to pay for a honeymoon he couldn't afford, and the couple who had drunk unprotected sex are the asshole for expecting people to pay for their kid because they couldn't use a condom. You're the asshole for the way you made it personal. No one take responsibility for their own actions at your place of work or what? Everyone just makes dumb choices and gets thrown $11,000 lol.
You're not the asshole, but let's stop pretending having unprotected drunken sex is not just as grossly irresponsible as overspending on your honeymoon, far more so actually.
She and her partner could have used contraception if kids really weren't feasible in the current climate, so I have little sympathy for them. I agree that the manager was a dick, though. Not the asshole. Thank you for standing up and saying something. I bet a lot of people felt the same. Start documenting everything, cause a guy who harasses his workers for donations seems like the type that would try and make something up to get you fired.
Executive management, no pay cut taken. Yeah, sounds about right. And #X200B. Edit. Not the asshole.
At my first job, I'd only been there a few weeks when we were told our finance director was leaving and they were having a whip round for her. She was a nice enough person, but I was like, hell fucking no. Why should I donate money to someone who literally earns 10x what I'm making? Not the asshole. It's your money, you can choose who you donate it to.
Not the asshole per se. I'm not one to be silent towards management, but in your case I probably have turned my criticism into questions. Like, why is this such an issue to you? Isn't it up to people themselves to determine how much they contribute? Annoying questions. Yes, not something that can be seen as a direct judgment.
Not the asshole who you donate money to, for whatever reason it may be, is your choice. No one should demand money for any reason. Also, can I just point out how shitty your company is that middle employees are taking pay cuts and the executives aren't. Practically every place that I have heard of either does equal pay cuts or higher pay cuts for higher salary.
Not the asshole, and it's highly unprofessional of an HR manager not to realize that he is in the wrong here. $50–100 is an insane amount to expect anyone else to donate to a coworker. In the twin situation you volunteered, making it a completely different situation.
No one should be donating to anyone in this place and it's putting everyone in awkward positions. Not the asshole, but my goodness, you all know too much about each other. Who knows every coworker's wage? And you all talk about your personal lives so much one of you feels comfortable admitting you got drunk and had unprotected sex? IDK the environment in the office, but I bet if you all acted a bit more professional, you'd avoid conflicts like this.
Well, I just found out what I want for Christmas. Ops massive balls.
Where do you work? Man. I wish I could do either or. Haha, 11K for having unprotected sex. 6K and 14 days of vacation for walking down the aisle. Haha, Jesus. Your boss is entitled. Who asks for a specific amount of money towards something he's only going to enjoy, not the asshole.
Not the asshole is this trend a cross between gift giving and aspirational charity. It's bizarre. Also, HR are not allies in the workplace, their position forces them to view colleagues as potential problems they will need to solve, one day. He shouldn't be engaging in this considering his role and seniority.
Not the asshole. How much you everyone discusses their personal lives and finances would make me uncomfortable though. I don't want to know which day someone random from work conceived their baby, that's TMI. You should only be giving people gifts if you want to. You wanted to buy a coworker having a baby gifts for the baby. That's fairly common and a nice gesture. You didn't want to give the manager wedding gifts. It sounds like you and your coworkers weren't even invited to his wedding, so it's extremely rude and strange he'd expect gifts from colleagues. No one should be asking for or expecting gifts. That's greedy and rude regardless of gender.
The only reason that half your team is upset is because you rocked the boat and they are afraid of the fallout because they don't want to stand up for themselves or anyone else in the right because they may get in trouble with the boss. Or they condone his actions. Either way, you are not the asshole. You took a look at the big picture, and between the higher paid boss's wedding and the coworker's unplanned twins in a pandemic with her being on a pay cut, you saw the real need and rose to the challenge to help fill the real need. You're a great example of an honest employee who has a coworker's back instead of pandering to someone who makes 3 times your pay and thinks he is entitled to a free ride.
Not the asshole, but are you trying to get fired?
You never confront a manager like that in a meeting. And a regional meeting at that. Yikes. This could have major negative repercussions for you. There was no need to do this and you only hurt yourself. Are you an asshole for doing it? At worst, a justified one. Clearly the executive was behaving poorly enough for a not the asshole judgment in my eyes. But you need to learn that professionalism is more important for you and keeping your job as a lower-level employee than it is for him as an executive. Don't let my judgment make you think you didn't screw up big time by confronting him in the meeting.
Not the asshole. And I'm not a hate on people with money person at all, but if a manager is asking for donations for a honeymoon and is then pissed he only got 6K? Fuck, I spent 3K on mine and it was great. No donations necessary. Super awesome of you to start the higher donations for the mom with twins though. That's way cool.
You're not the asshole at all, but it would probably be smart to look for another job. That kind of asshole will try to fuck you up down the road. I have no comments other than your workplace sounds extremely fucked up. Glad the new CEO is looking to change things.
Not the asshole, but you're looking at it the wrong way. Regardless of the rights and wrongs of each situation, you and your colleagues are entitled to use your money as you see fit. End of story. Your manager seems spectacularly entitled though.